Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast, your weekly dose of many discussions and opinions, a show where we get comfortable being uncomfortable. And remember, no topic is off limits. Now let's talk about it. All right.
Right.
Oh, all right. It's going. Okay. Wow. Welcome back, guys, to another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. You know what's sad? I haven't recorded it so long, I almost forgot how to begin my intro. That is so devastating. I am embarrassed, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I've had to like really balance out just like work, my child, life, events, so many things. And it's not that anything takes a back seat. It's more like which is the best way I could balance this out
Mhm.
for me. So this is why I've been, taking it easy here on the pod, but it's still very much so alive. So it's good to be back. And today we have a returning guest. I am excited to have, first of all, he's not just a guest, he's my friend. So let me just clear that up. We go way back. Okay, so let me just clear that shit
Yeah,
up. That's a
very
friend right there.
long
I,
time.
very long.
Very
I
long.
started at that school when I was 17. I am 37. That's a long time,
Yes, that is that. Yeah, that's a little bit. It's a little bit of a
right? That's
couple
that,
journeys.
I mean, I don't feel that, to that extent. I feel great. I don't How do you feel? I feel great. I feel fantastic.
Um, I mean, with some people they'll say as far as like, yo, you don't look the age that you tell me, but
Mm.
which is good. But when you get that knee pain though,
Oh, yeah, okay. So I have knee pain. I do.
yeah.
You know why though? Because I thought I was hot shit and I could wear 4-inch heels for a long, long time. And then I thought I could drop it like it was hot.
Oh no, the wife
And
is
now
going through that right now.
today, yeah, yeah, yeah. And now it's like, no, Daisy, you gotta take it. Just take it easy. I am proud of myself though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back in training with Rick and I was able to deadlift heavy.
Oh, that's
I
what's
haven't
up.
done that in a long time. So I was
That's what's up.
very proud of myself. Yes, that
Mhm.
is definitely like I think I'm back on it. I'm getting back on it. So I'm excited for that. But we have here returning guest and my good friend Chris. Chris, welcome back to Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast.
Well, thank you for having me again on here.
The crowd is clapping. All right, so we have a lot to talk about today. First of all, we have been talking about you coming back for what is it, like 2 months or more?
Yeah.
I think it's yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like quite some time.
Mhm.
And of course, I always say timing is everything. There's always alignment in when I'm able to have anyone come on the show, whether we've been talking back and forth about returning or things like that. And lo and behold, this is like the time for it to happen.
Yeah.
So everything all in its due course and time. So as always, I don't know if you remember, but here on the show, we definitely always open up with a raw mess of the week. And this is usually something that may be relevant to what we're gonna talk about. Or, just hot off the press, something that I happen to see online that I definitely, just want to keep it a little messy for entertainment purposes, but also because there's messaging behind it. And so, in the spirit of, Lord, help me with what I'm about to say, in the spirit of acting, right? Carly Russell, have you heard about that story?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
see, I'm not gonna go about bashing another black woman
Ever. Ever.
on media. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So I will say this now. Was she wrong on what she did? Oh hell yeah. But there are other black and brown women who are out there who are actually being
Right.
trafficked, who are actually they have
Right.
not come home and have not been
Right.
found, and I feel that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but as far as with Carly, it was shameful on her to do something like that. That's
Yeah.
no.
As someone who works in healthcare, okay, and I'm not throwing it out there as an excuse, okay, but
Mm-hmm,
I have seen so much from a healthcare perspective.
mm-hmm,
When I see anyone really creating a story in their mind
mm-hmm,
or acting it out,
mm-hmm,
right, to make it believable, I'm always going to question if there is a health component there. Always, right? And so while I am not crazy about what she did, to your point and everything you just shared, right? I agree with that 100%. I am still going to have a little bit of a concern for her because a lot of people are scrutinizing her
Yeah.
for acting this out, for creating this, staging this, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But there's something deeper there, and it's not, again, it's not to excuse her, right? there's
Yeah.
there's this part of me that is always going to have a little bit of empathy and compassion. Okay, always, I'm always going to have that. We grew up in New York City for many, many years. We've seen many young girls, and now today young men, just disappearing, right? And 9 times out of 10, authorities assume, well, they probably just ran away. And sometimes that is the case for whatever the reason may be, right? And if we're going to highlight it that it could be for attention, well, we give a lot of grace to a lot of these teens and say, well, maybe they need therapy, maybe they need help, maybe they need to talk to someone, maybe something's going on at home. So, for whatever the reason may be, in her case, there was rumors and speculations that it had to do with her boyfriend, whatever that may be. I do still have a little bit of sense of empathy and compassion in this case. And it has triggered me a little bit to see so many just gear the whole, oh, she, what an actress, or to create such a story. We have to ask ourselves what's going on in there. We
Yeah.
just have to, we have to do that. And the reason I wanted to make a raw mess of the week is just because the whole story is just such a mess the way it has all unfolded,
Yeah.
right? Everything, just the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we still have to express some form of compassion and get to
Yeah.
the bottom of why.
Right.
Why did she do this?
Right.
Where did this come from? What type of support does she need? It does not mean she should not be held responsible. That's
Mm-hmm.
not what I'm saying. Just let's have a little bit of compassion and empathy.
Yep.
With all due respect, there are other instances and other cases, some with public figures, some with not, that get off the hook in many different ways for committing many different crimes if they have
Mm-hmm.
the right amount of money and the right amount of daddy behind them. Okay.
Yep.
So just putting it out there, but
Mm-hmm.
let's just have a little bit of compassion. Just a little bit. Let's just try and see if maybe we could hear from her eventually and just get to the bottom. What is it that really happened? That this was her best way and approach and idea
Mm-hmm.
to whatever her situation is. That's my mess here. Sorry, I'm always going to put my career at the forefront. I'm always going to have that because that is something I'm very passionate about.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's a touch society tends to miss sometimes,
Oh yeah,
just a
yeah, yeah,
little
of
bit.
course. Yeah.
Just a little bit. So I'm glad you opened up exactly the way you did because that's exactly how I wanted to attract the raw mess of the week and just
Yeah,
hit it
yeah,
off with that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go into the as raw as it gets. Now giving it a closer look, right? Because that's the thing. Like in the last 2 weeks, everybody's like just deep diving and giving things a closer look. I want to highlight a little bit of what you've been up to. The last time you were here, we definitely dived into your career and just, what that looked like even just growing up and your
Yeah, yeah.
passion. And you gave us a little insight on your background, your mom, your grandma, which, it's just so it's such a beautiful thing for you to share so much here on this platform. But now, today, you are post grad, you are married,
Yep.
right? There's new milestones that have come into play, and where your career is and your pathway right now. And I wanted to know, how does that look like with you balancing life and just managing all of that at this moment?
Um well, one, as far as it's great that I have support with it. And yeah, with the wife, she just wants to see me win out here, so that's good. So and as for an artist, that's what you need, because I know there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that don't have that support.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful for that. I know
Mm-hmm.
with like I said, with everything going on, and I know as far as we'll get to that in a minute, but
Yeah.
yeah, like it's like right now, like usually around the summertime, it kind of slows down industry wise. Theater
Okay.
still goes on, but
Yeah.
like film and TV, they usually slow down, so it won't pick up until about I would say about 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Okay.
Like going into as far as into the fall when everybody's about to go back to school, fashion week, so that's when everything starts picking up again. Um, but yeah, even with that, I just try to manage it the best way I can. It's more it'll be easy some days, and then other days it'll be like, oh god, I got like 3 auditions to sell tape for.
Mm.
I gotta cook for. I gotta make sure the wife is good. I gotta cook for her and for us. she might be going through something. I got to deal with that. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's it depends on the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah, like I said, it's good when you have that support. So that because that's pretty much where it starts from. So
Yeah.
and trying to balance within me trying to with my survival job and her and then my careers and then my own time, so it's four things.
Yeah.
So because you don't want to strangle her, you don't want her to strangle you. So
Yeah.
so and I'm
Heard you.
Aquarian, so I love so over the years it's like I've grown my time. Don't start this, Daisy. So um
I feel a way about
so
Aquarius, y'all.
it's don't start this, man.
I'm not. I'm not.
Um,
That's not the topic of conversation today.
but it's just a matter of just just juggling it all,
Yeah.
and especially with that downtime is needed, so I can actually reset, relax, and just do
Yeah.
me.
For 100%. One of the things that I want to be, again, in the spirit of acting, you are an actor. You've
Hmm.
done theater,
Hmm.
TV, right?
Hmm.
Am I missing what else?
That's
Let's
it.
just drop all.
No, that's it.
That's it. We're good. Okay, because we're about to
I
drop
haven't
all
crossed over into
credentials here.
voiceover yet. With like I want to do that, but yeah,
Okay.
I haven't. That's the only part I haven't done yet is voiceover.
Okay. And so when it comes, so for one, congratulations, because I know you had days of performances recently,
Yeah,
right? And a couple, yes, you did a fantastic job on that. I saw some of the clips. I really tried to my best to make it out there, but of course healthcare happens and they were like drowning me. I'm actually drowning right now, but it's okay. That'll be for another time.
yeah.
It is what it is. It's the season for me. So,
Right, right, right.
it is what it is. And you did go abroad, right?
Yes.
Right. So tell me a little bit about that, because that's definitely one thing for me. I Not that I love it, but I love to hear how the balancing life looks like, especially when it comes to partnership and when one person has to go away, when it is work related
Yeah.
or school related or anything like that. Tell me a little bit of how that looked like for you.
So, well, to begin that, I always wanted to travel. I always wanted to study in England. So,
Mhm.
and I always heard about the year programs though. So, and it was called a Fulbright. So you'll be a Fulbright scholar. You have to actually write an essay, and I think I forgot, it's like certain rounds. I don't know if it's two or three where
Mhm.
where you get interviewed, they look at your essay, and some other stuff happens. So, and if you get accepted, you're pretty much an ambassador for your country into the other country, right? Of course. So, and you're gone for a year. So I
Yeah.
presented that to my wife. My wife was like, acting like she don't got a name. Like I presented it to Bryce, and as far as that she, how do you feel about that? She was just like, no. I was just like, well, like I gotta think of plan B. So my
Mhm.
boy who was about to graduate for the program at that time last year in 2022,
Mhm.
he was telling me about a program called BADA.
Okay.
So it's the British American Drama Academy, and they study in Oxford University.
Okay.
So, and we're like in modeling college, yeah. So, and this is the same program that Chadwick went to. So Chadwick went there, Ruth Negga went there, Paul Rudd went there, David Schwimmer
Mm,
went there. If you're familiar with The Walking Dead, with I think the 10th or 11th season, the one that played
mhm.
Mercer, he went there. He's actually a friend of mine. He went there.
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, 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 yes.
Who else? Meryl Streep's daughter. I think
Okay.
Brian Cox's son went there. Brian Cox is actually an ambassador for them too. Yeah. So there's a
Okay.
lot of
Okay.
people that went that you've seen and know on screen. So
Yeah.
and so when he told me about that, I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. And it's at Oxford? Hell yeah. So
Yeah.
I had to do like what is called a contemporary monologue, which is pretty much pieces from like 1950 and up, 1950 to present.
Okay. Okay.
So and I had to do a Shakespeare piece, and I've never done Shakespeare only but once prior.
Oh, wow.
So I did something from Othello. Um, I just like I had people to help me. I had my friend Susie, who is a beast in Shakespeare. She was in my class. So I asked her like, what Shakespeare monologue would I go to? She get be good with or be good to to audition for it. And she gave me
Yeah.
Othello. And then I went with one of the pieces I already prepared as well. So went and auditioned, and I was like, all right, see how this goes. And then I found out 2 weeks later I got it.
That's amazing.
So
That is amazing. How long was this program?
it was for a month.
Okay, this was
So
doable for price.
yeah, that was doable. So and how this happened? So we got married on June 24th. So we just
Mm,
celebrated a year. So
yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Yes, that's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a blessing.
thank you, thank you. So literally I got married June 24th. I was on the plane to England July 7th.
Oh my God.
So 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I was out for a month.
Oh,
I went in, and this is the first time I was like ever by myself in
yeah.
another country. So I was just like, okay, this is gonna be an experience. So
Yeah.
and met someone there who's also Guyanese. She got married the same day I did.
Oh,
She lives not that far from me. Yeah,
amazing. Amazing. See, alignment.
yeah,
That's what was that was it. That was meant.
yeah,
Even from a supportive standpoint,
yeah,
right? To know that there's someone who can relate to you in so many ways.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So for that 1 month, and listen, ladies and gentlemen, y'all gonna be like, oh, it's just a month. No, I don't want to hear.
yeah,
First of all, you're newlyweds. Okay, that's something different.
yeah.
It's completely different. It's still supposed to be, the extra dose of honeymoon. It's your pure bliss, and I'm sure you still were, but such a distance, different time zones. Am I correct?
So
Like
yeah, England is 5 hours ahead. So right now it would be 2:30. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. It would be 1 o'clock, 1:30 over there. 1:30
1:30.
a.m.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
France
So
is
like
7. No, 6. Italy is 7, and so on and so forth.
yeah, like it's a lot of a difference. It could definitely impact. I won't immediately say it could take a toll because,
Mhm.
everybody handles and manages things differently, but it can impact
Yeah.
plenty, right?
Hmm.
And so knowing already, considering what industry you are in, right?
Right.
There is a lot of support that comes in that, but then here comes a program, such a great opportunity, and then there's distance. How was it from her end? Did she ever share anything with you on what that was like for her also?
Oh no, she was like, "You
Um
better fucking go." Like she, she was just like I literally when I got the acceptance letter because I was like
uh-huh.
I was having like a little bit of shell shock and at the same time that imposter syndrome was like nah I don't deserve I'm not gonna go. She'd be like she's like Chris you're going right. I'm like
Yeah.
yes I'm going.
Yeah.
So and she was like all
Yeah.
right so pay your entry fee get that done. But she was gonna
Yeah.
miss me but at the same time she wanted me to take advantage of the opportunity. So
Absolutely. You mentioned imposter syndrome.
no,
Y-
meaning as far as like how you feel you don't deserve it.
right.
Like it's
You still feel that? Some like
um yes and no, but
okay.
more
Okay.
so, I was like, nah, I deserve this. After a while, when I
Good.
got
Yeah.
there, I was like, nah, I deserve this. Nah,
Yes. 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 I was just about to say,
I was
Chris, no.
I was speaking about this for a minute. I was talking
Yeah.
about it for a while. I was like, if I ever got the chance to go to train in England, I would go. Opportunity presented itself. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Amen to that. I love it. I love it. How does compromise look when it comes to that? Because I know she said you better go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even compromise, the compromising piece of it, like what does that mean? There was only 2 weeks until from the marriage point to leaving. Was there planning in between that? Like what was the compromising or agreements of what that was going to look like and planning ahead? Or was there any at all?
Um, she gonna probably kill me if she heard me say this, but I would like because I'm leaning towards. I don't think we had any planning as far as that. So
Okay.
originally, it was gonna be when I was done with the program. She was gonna go over there and see me,
Okay.
and but she had something to do with her mom because her mom's 70th, so she
Okay.
had to plan that. So it didn't
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
But I made sure I brought stuff over. I bought her a dress from over there.
Okay. Okay.
So make sure at least I was bringing stuff back. I was in hand. I brought stuff in hand. So
Yep, yep, yeah. It's important. That's part of the compromise, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I asked. No, no, no. Listen, if
so
if one of us can't make it, you better bring me something.
yeah,
I'm definitely that person.
right,
I'm that person. So
right,
I always like to hear, what does compromise look like? Oftentimes when we think of couples, right? And you're always thinking about routine and schedule, and oh, he has a 9 to 5, or I have like a 7 to 3, or sometimes it's a 3 to 11. But with you in particular, there is a bit of a difference, right, in what her schedule may look like
yeah,
versus for you,
right,
right? It's two different industries. And so I always like to highlight, what does compromise look like, for two people who industries are very, very different and unique in their own way. So
mm-hmm,
thank you for sharing that. I want to get a little deeper here,
mm-hmm,
and go into the double or nothing, because speaking of what that experience was for you, and then you come back, right? And so, we're getting ready to, get back in the game, right? And here we are today. Okay.
mm-hmm,
And I always say alignment here, y'all, because of what we're going to talk about today, too. And what I do believe is important to highlight.
yeah,
For one, because you directly are my friend, and two, there's so many people just in this world that if it wasn't for their talents,
mm-hmm,
I'm gonna say that right now because I don't got talents like that, but if it wasn't for their talents, we wouldn't have a way to some way somehow unwind.
yeah,
We wouldn't have a way to some way somehow live vicariously through a story,
yeah,
or for me, being able to, and I am a fan of Broadway and off Broadway shows. I am a fan. I have been taking my son to shows for as long as he could sit his ass down and not move until intermission. Okay, and that was something that was so important to me with my kid.
mm-hmm,
I believe I said this last time. If I haven't, I'll share it again.
mm-hmm,
I was part of the theater development fund in high school, so we did a lot of writing, and that was my first exposure and experience to Broadway and off Broadway shows. And so
mm,
there's so much art in that. There's so much talent and
yeah,
passion in that.
yeah,
And we would not be doing right, for me personally, when I come home. One of the first things I want to do is sit down, forget about all the responsibilities, right?
mm-hmm,
And I'm not just talking about my meditation or any type of working out or stretching or having my family time during dinner. I mean, sometimes I just want to sit there and tune in to something. Sometimes on a Sunday, I want to be able to say to my kid, you know what? Bought these tickets, let's go. We're gonna go see this. We're gonna have a day out. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We go see a show on theater. And I wish there was a lot more importance to this, because it's like you're living on stage when you see everyone doing the work, when you see everyone performing.
mm-hmm.
The latest musical we saw was Michael Jackson. And my son, he knew who Michael Jackson was.
When did you guys see this one?
But it April. We went in April.
Was Miles still performing or no?
Yes, I
Okay,
believe so. I think it was still Miles. And when we went, first of all, that is the first thing my son loved. Okay. He was like, wow, he is amazing. The next thing was, it was because of theater, it was because of stage, it's because of the amazing acting that was done, right? The talent, that all of a sudden my kid came home and downloaded every single possible song of Michael Jackson and
nice.
started listening, and started wanting to learn about his story and learn everything that he can. And what that taught me was, first of all, our youth misses out on a lot of things, but there's so much you can really learn through the arts. And second of all, it was just, by far, I cried watching that show. I was just so moved. Right now, the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Television and Radio, I said it right, artists. Okay, see,
I think you
I
did.
think I was almost there. I think I was
No, you
almost
did.
there, right?
No, you did.
Right? Okay. Um, they are on strike. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have joined in with, let me see if I remember. Don't judge me. Writers Guild of America, WGA, WGA. Okay, yes. And they want better pay, security. Um, they want to be able to address any form of disparities, unfairness. People are not getting paid. They're not getting paid what they deserve, right? When you say, I deserve this,
Mm-hmm.
there are plenty of people who deserve, and they are not seeing what they deserve.
Yep.
What is your take on this? You are in this industry. Like, how do you feel about this? What do you think is ultimately going to be the resolution or end result?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the corporations are, because there was a statement that they said. I'm pretty sure you heard this. And
Mm-hmm.
one's listening, where they were saying that they're going to wait for the writers, talking about the writers first, that for them to go broke and lose their houses in their apartments. And I was just like, that's okay. You can, okay, that's evil for you
Yeah.
to say. And what I don't get, as far as like with them, like how long do you think you can keep calling their bluff? Because prime season is about to come soon. Pilot season is about to come soon.
Right.
It's actually almost about to start. What are you gonna
Mm-hmm.
do when you don't have your lineup for fall?
I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be
There's
honest.
already reruns
They,
going on for the Tonight Show. The Tonight Show.
yeah, I know. I
Abbott
know.
Elementary had to be cut short. I think Ted Lasso had to be cut short. That like was affected because of it, and they finished the
Yeah.
third season.
Yeah.
There's like movies being pushed back. Deadpool 2 in solidarity with the actors and writers.
Yeah.
House of Dragon, they said they're still doing for 2025, but I still feel it's going to get pushed back.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
what else? Last of Us season 2 is going to get pushed back. Um,
Mm.
Stranger Things season 5 pushed back.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah. That's my
whole
kid's
bunch of
show.
stuff that's affected.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how long you can continue to call that, because of the actors, and you need actors and writers, and then the whole thing with AI, they're trying to like implement that where they don't need actors and writers. I'm like, how are you gonna? You can't make a computer feel.
Right. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
can't make a computer feel. You can't make a computer
Yeah.
write as far as with their feelings on paper. You cannot make a computer emote. You cannot make you can't make them as far as like tell a story. You can't make them do that. And they've already
Right.
tried it with
Right.
CGI when they take someone's likeness and put it on screen. Anyway, look at Harrison Ford. He looked a lot younger than he looked like he did in the early, like late '70s in Dial of Destiny.
I know.
I didn't see it, by the way. I
I
heard that
like
movie was
it.
crap. But but
I don't like it.
but but yeah, man. I mean, just pay the writers and actors what they deserve, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you hear stories about one of the dudes on the Bear, where he
Mm.
was one of the writers on it. He didn't get paid, not nil. And
Nothing.
then I
Yeah.
heard there was a
I know.
story. I don't know if this is a rumor or if this is fact, but someone on She-Hulk, where
No.
where he or she or they got paid a certain amount of money, and they're supposed to get residuals off of it. And I don't know if either they didn't get anything, or they got like more than 50% less of what they would normally get in residuals.
What?
So it's like, no, that has to change.
Yeah. No, I listen. Giovanni Samuels, she actually posted one viral today, earlier today. She is an American actress, voice artist. She has done this in Disney, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She's a regular on All That. I don't know if you remember that show.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm not old
she was
people.
actually yeah, she was actually Freedom. I know, listen, that's
Yeah.
the I love that show. She was on Freedom Writers too.
Oh, nice.
And yes, and I was so heartbroken because she said, I've exhausted my savings. We just survived a pandemic. Like, I need to eat. And she's owed residuals also. Um, there's so much sorrow and pain in how she expressed what her struggle is right now. You know, we have people who, if it wasn't for their talents and their expertise, because I don't believe certain things could be the same if someone else would have done it.
Yep.
Okay. We were entertained for years. We were entertained for years, tuning in every single week because of the talents, because of what was being written, because of the scripts, because of all the good stuff that was happening on these shows. And if it wasn't for them, you would have never had the type of viewership that you did, right? You would have never had the type of success
Exactly.
that was had.
Hmm.
on your platform, on your show, on your production. And it saddens me. You know, one thing I've learned also in recent years, when you think of the Grammys, the songwriter, sure, they get recognized, right? But the songwriter gets paid on that one time moment just for the writing. And yes, they could win the Grammy, but as far as the years to come,
But I think
and
they get royalties off of that, though. I think
well, I've actually heard conflicting stories in some
really.
cases. Yes, I've heard
Okay.
conflicting stories in some cases where it's like, mm-mm, no, no, no. It's like you write the song, and if it's successful, great, you get paid. If it's not, then you just don't. And yeah, there's a lot of conflict in that too. So I know even from the music industry standpoint, there's a lot that's being fought for also. And again, it's artists. Again, we're talking about art. We're talking about talents that not everyone has. And people are not being recognized, nor are they being compensated for what is right and for the work that they're putting into
Hmm.
um people like us to be able to enjoy a song or to be able to enjoy a show or to be able to enjoy anything at that, you know. Let's not go too far. I do work in healthcare. I'm sure it's been heard of, right?
Hmm.
We every time we have to renew contracts with our healthcare providers, there's always a chance that if we do not meet the needs of the people who are at that bedside and they go on strike, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. We need to be able to support the work that
Yeah.
is being done. You know, I think I just heard on the news also, maybe like yesterday or something. Let's make it even easier, guys. Okay, it is the summertime. One thing that pisses me off is when I see all these delivery guys with their doors open because there's no AC in their trucks. You have I think UPS it is right now, who's threatening to go on a strike too. Why?
Yeah.
Because they are working under terrible conditions still.
Yep.
There are people driving in this heat, right, doing a job. This is why our packages get lost. Okay, they're angry. You're not giving them air conditioners. You're not
Hmm.
giving them suitable work space for them
Hmm.
to be able to do what they have to do. So people are going to stand up and they're going to protest and they're going to strike, right? And I think these voices need to be heard,
Yeah.
amplify them, help to amplify them, right? Continue to support them in every which way we can, because it's not fair. It makes me extremely sad to realize who it is that has impacted the shows that I love and that they are struggling as much as they are. It's
Yeah.
really heartbreaking. And it brought me so much sadness to see her video. It's gone viral. I may even include it in the link of the show notes for when this episode does drop, which is not going to be too far out from this most recent news. But it is something that we need to pay attention to. We need to be aware of. Um, for you in particular, when you think of, you know, what this looks like for you right now, what does plan B look like for you at this moment? You know, what does it look like as far as still living in your moment and continuing in your career, but then also see what the reality is right now?
Right. I mean, this is what I went to go to grad school for, so this is pretty much the only plan. But the plan B, normally when you go after stuff like this and you want to see it happen so bad, there's really no plan B. And I know for some people
Yeah.
that's like, oh, you're silly or you're being reckless, and I'm like, well, what did you go for? I mean,
Yeah.
there were things you wanted to, people that went into trades as far as like you saw it as that was like, nah, this is gonna make this work. I'm gonna make it happen. And people have gotten in. Some people haven't, but people that have gotten in, you went after something you wanted. Now,
Right.
for me, I know there's some people that consider the arts not a real job, and fuck y'all. So so I'm just
Listen.
like, nah, because for those people that feel that although the arts is not a real job, you would not be in the industries that you're in if it wasn't for creativity. Period. Like,
Amen to that.
so you have to create the like HR people. They have to create jobs. That takes a level of that takes a level of precision and creativity in order to say what they want, what they need. That is that too.
Hmm.
Then you have to architects. They have to create buildings, right? That's
Yeah.
creativity. As
Yeah.
far as like with mathematics was a creativity as far as like science is creativity too. So it's just like
Hmm.
it's is I don't understand people who actually don't really consider being an actor or a musician or or a painter like a real job. Yes, it's not the norm. Yes, it's a way more less traveled road. Yes, it is without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
There's gonna be days you eat. There's gonna be days you go starving. That
Right.
happens.
Hmm.
But at the same time, as far as like if you're brave enough to actually pursue art, you deserve all the support in the world, seriously. And plus,
Absolutely.
as far as like with that, when you do make it big, people will be like, "Oh, I knew that person when he was like doing this, that, and the third," and I'm just like, "You just told me to actually go focus on something else. Get out of
Right.
here."
Right. Right. Can I just add something to that? Because I've been having this conversation recently, and I'm glad you're saying about the creativity piece, right? Anyone can go up to the front of a classroom and talk,
Mm-hmm.
but not everybody could deliver a message or make an impact. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go up to that stage, right? Anybody could think they could just go on the stage, repeat a few lines. That doesn't mean you're going to impact the audience. That doesn't mean that you're going to deliver that script the way the other person can, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is so much that is involved with passion. I recently had to curate and run a whole show on training, right? And it was a full day's work, right? And at the end of it all, and it included being, of course, the knowledgeable pieces, the must inform pieces and the segments and the topics, but then came being creative with how we present things. The videos we're showing them, well, let's be creative on how we're going to challenge them, right? Because we want to make sure we're being intentional with our messaging here, right? How do I deliver a message without it being so obvious, right? And at the end of it all, I had two of my leadership approach me and say, Daisy, you're really passionate about this. We can see it in your face, the way you handled this, the way you did all of it. And what is interesting, there's so much on the responsibility that I have in my job that the obvious is there of what I do on a day to day, right? We understand processes, we understand forms, we understand so much. But it took the creative side of me for them to see that passion of me being in
Right.
this industry. It
Right.
took that part, for them to see you love this. You're very intentional with this. Like we would have never thought in doing this activity how you deliver that message.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know what? That's the part that I didn't learn in my bachelor's. That's the part I didn't learn in my grad. That was work from paying attention to everyone else.
Yeah.
In corporate, let's not go so far. There's our key component in training people is off stage, on stage. Let's not go so far. That is exactly what we say. When it comes to your customer service, you have bad days, but I better put on that damn smile every single day because I'm on stage when I clock in.
Mm-hmm.
That is how it is when we want to run a business, or in some cases, you run a show. Not everybody has good days, but you have to deliver. When you all are performing, you're coming on stage, you have a whole room of an audience waiting to see a great show. And not everybody has been at their best. Maybe some is not feeling well or whatever or what have you, right? Because everyone is human. And I would really hope um that society can understand just how much really goes into the creative side of things, learning with what works and what doesn't,
Yeah.
and being able to expand on our own talents, right? Being honest with ourselves on what our talents look like.
Right.
I appreciate you bringing up, other type of roles when it comes to art and creativity. I I want to give a shout out to him on this. My grandfather, you know, my man used to I call him my man, God rest his soul. He came to this country and one way or another he figured out like how else he could hustle, right? And we used to call him Papi Taxi because he would do taxi in his car, right? He would taxi out like a gypsy cab. But my man had a closet in the one, two, three bedroom apartment he had with my grandma, right? And in that closet he kept it with a lock. And our locks, our apartment locks in New York City, they were not by like the landlord. My grandfather was a locksmith and he created our own locks. He would do this. And in this little closet, he had the equipment to make locks. Like
Mm.
he figured it out. He figured it out how in his 3 bedroom apartment he had all his instruments in one room because he was still a musician. He would carry around his guitar wherever someone wanted him to sing or to play his guitar in our Ecuadorian community, right? Or he had
Mm.
his car outside to be a cab driver, or he had a little closet where he still did the job of a locksmith. And this is stuff, creativity and skills and talent that he brought with him when he came to this country instead of just going and just getting a job. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And so for me, that's about the hustle. And that's what this fight is really about.
yeah.
It's about a different type of a hustle that not all of us can understand, much less even do. I'll be the first one to say it. The most you're ever gonna hear me sing is in the shower, and that is about it, or at karaoke. Because I cannot sing for shit. Worst act, but it is what it is. So thank you for shining light on this. I definitely wanted to tackle it and be able to highlight it. I have one more question for you when it comes to the double or nothing and what is going on right now.
Mhm.
In a perfect world, do you believe, because right now there's a little bit of controversy with this, do you believe that right now there is enough support for those that are standing up and speaking out? Do you find that there is enough support even in the industry within itself?
Yeah. I think there's been a good amount of. I saw Sean Gunn on the picket lines with people. I've seen who else has been out there? Oh my god, I think what's her name? She was on SNL. Tall black woman, Leslie Jones. She was
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch of people. I even heard The Rock made a
Yes.
big donation to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I was like,
Yes, I did
word.
hear about that too. Yes.
So I was like,
Yes.
so yeah, it's so I see there is there's some support as far as like especially from
Mm-hmm.
the top tier, like the upper echelon of actors. So and I think a lot of people always think about as far as like, oh, actors make so much money and stuff like that, and why are they crying? I'm like, you're only talking about the 1 to 3%.
Mm.
That's what you're
Mm.
talking
Talk.
from.
Right.
There's
Mm.
160,000 members of SAG and AFTRA. I'm one of them.
Mm.
So it's like, so you think about as far as like the top tier, you have the Rocks, you have the Viola Davises, Samuel Jacksons, the Denzels, the Meryl Streeps, all those within that, and there's a lot of them within that 1 to 3%,
Mm-hmm.
but that make a certain amount of money, and then there's everybody else.
Mm.
So it's a lot of people, man, on the
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a reality when you hit them with the
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah,
I
and
I,
then
I love it.
yeah. So and then I think one of the SAG this the VP, the vice president of SAG LA, I forgot her name already. Oh my god. Um, she um she actually just went on and said as far as where we have to where and actually no, this is known where you have to make at least 26,000 to actually meet for health insurance. You have to make that much to qualify for health insurance within SAG.
Mm.
So and with the amount of money that's being paid for roles as is, that's not enough.
Right. Right. Can I just I'm glad you brought that up. I was only talking about people being able to eat. Don't even get me started on healthcare and
Yeah.
what insurance looks like and what it looks like to not have insurance. We have I'm at the front line right now in healthcare when it comes to our communities, right? And the underserved. But when you think of a group of people who are doing what, who are working, and I mean working,
Hmm.
for them to not have a benefit like this,
Yep.
it's even more heartbreaking. When you're in the industry, you see these numbers of what it costs to stay well, to just stay well, and I mean just doing your key visits. Okay, like let's not even talk about if you're diagnosed with something, if you need to continue treatment or things like that. Like those numbers are ridiculously scary, and there are so many who do not have a single dollar of coverage,
Yeah.
and that is scary to me. That's very scary to me. So imagine to the person who's living through that. um I don't know what that life would be like. And that's where this is important. I'm glad you mentioned about the rock. There is ways to donate. There is ways to support,
Hmm.
and I really want to continue amplifying that here. My mom always said, you know, that your right hand should not know what your left hand does, and vice versa, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not going to sit here and boast about, what we donate to, but I will say, when you do have, you should pay it forward, and you should
Yeah.
be able to donate, um for many causes. Every penny counts, and when you have more and more people doing it, it will add up.
Hmm.
And so just remember that. We could probably even kind of link it to the show notes, a direct link for people to do their research and look into it and see how they could continue to help.
Hmm.
But I definitely wanted to bring this to the table today
Yeah.
and to discuss this
They can
and
just go
talk
on
about it in depth.
SAG-AFTRA.org.
Yeah. Oh, say that one more time for the people in the back.
SAG-AFTRA.org.
There you go. It's that simple, y'all. It's that simple. All right. So we're gonna go into the overdose, and this is where we discuss something that we are either overjoyed with or completely over it.
Hmm.
And if you want to highlight two things, that's fine, one of each, or two things of just one. And it could be absolutely about anything. And
Hmm.
I mean anything.
Hmm.
Just hit us with anything. This is like your moment to get anything off your chest.
Oh, ha, the the misuse of the word woke.
Oh, talk about it.
Why is woke a bad thing? Like I and as a matter of fact, as far as like when I hear my own say like, oh, when they making the show woke, I'm like, and I get so pissed off. I'll be like, no, no, no,
Mm, mm,
no. Do, do you even know what woke means as far as like being aware of what's going on in society, the black and brown people being aware as far as them being taken advantage of, being aware as far as like of things not happen, not equal opportunities happening for black and brown people. I'm like, when I
mm,
hear as far as like, oh, just because, and the thing about it is they telling themselves when they actually when they get mad at a woman being a lead, or they see somebody who's LBGTQ, as far as like from that community, as far as like when they're like when they're like a supporting lead or a main lead, or if the story is focused on them, like they telling themselves with that. And I'm just like for instance, I'll give you an Nick Offerman in The Last of Us when
mm.
he did the episode when it was the same sex couple. You know how many people were
Yeah,
pissed off about that? Do you know how many people were pissed off about that? And I was just like, you're telling on yourself. Like, bro, like if you played the game, you would know they hinted at that. They just went further with it in the show. And it was one of the
mm-hmm.
best damn episodes I've ever seen because it actually told the story of a human being, a human experience. Just a
Yeah,
couple who loved each other through thick and thin until the day they died.
yeah,
What
yeah,
more do you want?
yeah.
I think that was one of the
Absolutely.
best, some of the best work I've seen by Nick Offerman. I'm hoping he wins an Emmy. Well, I'm hoping he's either not he's nominated for an Emmy for that. I think he is,
Yeah,
or is he? I'm not sure. But he did some damn good work with that.
yeah, yeah. I hear you. It's interesting. You brought that word to the table. I think you're right. I think oftentimes, and I've definitely been one who has, as a Latina, right,
Mm-hmm.
as part of my community, and as someone who definitely stands right with my fellow black and brown brothers and sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm one that has done the whole, repost, the black screen post, and
Mm-hmm.
stand and all of that, right?
Right.
But I do feel that there is more ways to be quote unquote woke, right?
Right.
Without having to constantly amplify it where you see the opportunity to do so in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people like to again talk and talk and talk, thinking that they know what they're talking about. And really, you don't have to say much. You could just show your many different ways of support in being woke. There is ways to do that. And I have realized one thing, and this is in more areas than just one, but especially in this area. If you be quiet and you listen as
Right.
someone who is trying to be intentionally and continue to be intentionally woke, because there is so much that is going on, right? Not just by race, but also sexual preferences, right? And sexuality, right? And things like that, of that nature. You learn a lot more about who's really woke in these situations and who the fuck is not.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people that pick and choose, not a battle, but the benefit of the topics of conversation. There is actually recently there's been a whole debate that has come out. um Jess Hilarious was involved. A trans woman, I believe, said something about menstrual cycles and women, right? And how, you know, women don't own the menstrual cycle, and a bunch of women, biological women, came to the table and just, I am a biological woman, like, menstrual cycle is for me and this. And first and foremost, and I'm totally gonna say this during this overdose, I don't want to deal with any menstrual cycles ever again a day in my fucking life. So why are we fighting over this? Like,
Right.
let it the fuck go. But what the reason why I'm bringing this to the table is because the same people who claim to be so woke on
Mm.
equalness, rights all across the board, right, being fair to what the LGBTQAI plus, I believe, and I hope I said this correctly,
Yeah.
what their experiences are, all of a sudden one comment is made, and we want to battle over menstrual cycles. I don't understand. It's either you get it or you don't.
Right.
and
Yeah.
and
Pretty
and
much.
we realize what's really important here. I could give two shits about a menstrual cycle. I care about this government deciding over my body. That's what I care about, because Mother Nature is going to do its thing, and
Hmm.
at one point it's going to take its course. I
Yep.
care about people with gavels deciding what is going to happen with my body. How anyone else may feel, I always say it depends on their experiences and just how they feel in general, right? And we have to be able to give a little bit of understanding to everyone's experiences. We
Yeah.
have to be able to be open to that, for the sake of conversation, but again, for the peace of understanding, for sure. So, for me, it's kind of like there's this ongoing battle of who's a woman, who's not, who can own the menstrual cycle, who cannot. And really, we just want to make sure, as a woman, I speak for myself biologically. Okay, cool. I just don't want anybody dictating over the rights my body should have.
Right.
That's really what I care about. That's
No.
my wokeness in
Right.
this moment.
No,
How about
I get.
that?
I get
um
that.
I'm just saying. I want to thank you for coming on today's episode to have this conversation with me and sharing an update as to where you are right now, just with life. One thing I love that this journey has brought me is I've been able to maintain friendships all across the board with many people from Jesus Christ, how long ago? And it's beautiful to see where dear friends of mine are able to come on as guests, but also share where their successes. And I want to congratulate you on where your successes at this very moment, regardless of what is going on in the world of the industry you are in. Damn sure should be proud of it. And I cannot wait to see what else is in store for you. And hopefully I can make it this time, the next time you are on a stage, so that we can come out and support. And we would definitely amplify that here. But I thank you so much for just coming on and having this very important conversation with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And could you tell my listeners where they could find you and support you? What's the best social media platform to do so?
Yeah. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Chris Pole 21. It's CHRISPOL 21 on IG. Or if you want to look at my
Yes.
website, it's chrispollard.org.
Yes, amen to that. He said he has a website, y'all. I need to get my life together. I still haven't like done a whole website. It's disturbing. I know. I surely do it. But again, thank you so much for coming. All the information will be in the show notes. And as always, guys, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I am your host, Misty, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye.
Later,
Don't
later.
forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we are live on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Make sure to tell a friend to subscribe, rate, and review. Talk to you later. Bye.